let's switch gears, Alan, and let's talk about the Slamdance Film Festival. The Slamdance Film Festival was founded by a group of filmmakers that includes Peter Broderick, that includes Dan Mervish. We're all filmmakers in the 90s that submitted their movies to Sundance, and they were summarily rejected. And how did the filmmakers at Slamdance in the 90s respond? They decided to create their own film festival and call it Slamdance. And that's how it was born. It was born out of rejection from Sundance. And Slamdance has legitimately established itself as one of the film festivals that is absolutely one that you have to pay attention to when it comes to movies. In my opinion, I think Slamdance has some of the better programming from the standpoint that it is more honest. It includes filmmakers that are at a lower budget level. We're talking about movies made for less than $100,000. Some really remarkable work on the level of shorts, documentaries, and features. It is technically more difficult to get into the Slamdance Film Festival than it is to get into Sundance. So if you're a filmmaker that gets into Slamdance, count yourself incredibly lucky. So Alan, are you ready today to take a walk down the let's talk Slamdance. Wait, this video loop is not. Let me try that again. You ready? I'm going to do that again.
What just happened?
It's a clean. Were you pushing a button?
I wasn't touching anything.
All right, here we go. Wait, I want to do a clean one where we don't have the banner on it. All right, you ready?
Okay.
All right. So let's talk to filmmakers from the Slamdance Film Festival. We have a whole group of filmmakers to talk to. We're going to be doing something of a round table here. I am going to butcher some of their names when it comes to pronunciation, but I'm ecstatic that they're joining us today. Let's talk to the director, writer, and cinematographer, Marek. Marek, can you help me pronounce your name?
Marek Kozakiewicz.
Marek what?
Kozakiewicz.
Kozakiewicz. Okay.
Perfect. Good pronunciation.
All right. Well, I'm part Polish, so I'm doing my best. Tell us about your documentary.
Yeah. So the documentary I'm coming to Slamdance with is called Silent Love, and it is a film about building a new unconventional family in a very conservative, small Polish village. It starts with death, and then gradually, as it evolves, it goes towards life. And we start with the siblings, Agnieszka, who is 35, and Miloš, who is 14, and they have to deal with the death of their mother and arrange their lives in a new way. And then during the story, a third person enters the family, and this is Agnieszka's long-term partner, Maya, and they live in a love relationship that they keep secret. And the three of them try to become and build a new family.
Okay. And how long did you work on this documentary?
5 years.
Yeah, it's when you're doing a doc like that, it's just like, yes, I know the struggle. We're going to turn this into a round table, like a panel. Let's bring on Alex Rappaport. Alex is here. And Alex, tell us about your film.
Great to be here. My film is called With Peter Bradley, and it's a portrait piece of a now 82-year-old Black abstract painter who lives about 6 minutes away from me in Saugerties, New York. And I met Peter 3 years ago, and in my spare time, when I wasn't working as a cinematographer, I started going over and filming Peter doing his work. And at that point, Peter seemed to be all but forgotten by the art world or the art market. for decades. But when he was younger, up until his mid-30s in New York, he really achieved amazing success, particularly for a Black artist at that time. And so with Peter Bradley is pretty much the experience of the film. It's just me and Peter hanging out. I was the only one involved in the whole production up until the time that we needed a composer to do the soundtrack. And can I say, I'm sitting here now with issue 17, Chris.
Oh my God. Do you know how much money that's worth?
Which I bought, I probably a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's the collector's edition with James Dean, which I got when I was in film school in Austin, 1988.
Oh my God.
So this is the best press I've done, I want to tell you.
Well, congratulations on getting into Slamdance. I know it's actually more difficult. As I said, it's more difficult to get into Slamdance than it is to get into Sundance. Let's bring on some more filmmakers here. I'm going to wait because there's a couple filmmakers here. They're Shujat. You're gonna have to help me on the pronunciation of your name.
That was perfect.
Shujat.
Yes.
Shujat, welcome to the Film Threat livecast here, Hollywood on the Rocks on a Wednesday. Tell us about your film starring Jerry as himself. Or no, wait, sorry. It's The Underbug.
The Underbug,
well, The Underbug. Apologies for that.
Yeah. So The Underbug is a horror film. It's a psychological thriller. It's set against the backdrop of India's Independence Day, and sectarian violence has broken out into the country. And there are two rioters who have taken shelter in an abandoned house. And both of them are at each other's throats, of course, to know the other's religion, either to feel safe or to feel threatened. And that is when they realize that there is a presence in the house, an eerie presence in the house.
Well, is it in English? Is it in Hindi or Telugu or?
Yeah, it's in Hindi. Although the season for Telugu is on with RRR, but
yeah. No, but that's great. That's great. I've gone down a whole rabbit hole after discovering RRR, and that's amazing. So congratulations. And I love also when indie. I love indie documentaries, and I love indies that are genre, horror, sci-fi, fantasy. Love that stuff. So congratulations.
Thank you
on
so
getting
much.
into Slamdance. We've got some more filmmakers. They're going to be joining us here. Let me see. We have Lawrence, right?
That's right. Hi, Chris. Hi, Alan. How's it going? This is Law or Lawrence.
Law. Good to meet you, Law.
Good to meet you.
Tell us about your movie, starring Jerry as himself.
That's right. I'm the director of Starring Jerry as Himself. It's a docu-fiction feature about Jerry, who's an ordinary immigrant dad retired in Florida, who was recruited by the Chinese police to be an undercover secret agent. And Jerry happens to be the father of our producer, John Chu. So it's a very personal story and a really kind of fantastical one.
And John is actually here. He's joining us. He's not on camera at the moment, but here he is.
Hello.
Here he is. Hey, welcome, John.
Hi, thank you so much for having us here. Thrilled to be here.
Okay, cool. I just want to say to all of you, congratulations on your films getting in. This is the beginning of your journey. What you're going to be, from here, where it's going to take you is, you're going to have your film seen by a lot of people. How does that feel, having your film seen? I've had friends of mine who are filmmakers, their movie, they threw up just as their movie was about to premiere. Can you tell us what that experience is like? I assume you've shown it to people, but not premiering at a film festival. Who wants to go first? Just jump in. Whoever wants to talk about
I mean,
that.
I think John and I can kind of go first because, we've told a very personal story about John and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very excited to share the story of the world because, Jerry, who is John's father, thought it was super important for everybody to hear his story. But it is nerve-wracking. It's the first time an Asian American family has kind of revealed the inner workings of, drama and kind of tragedy in their lives. So John and Jerry are particularly nervous, but we're all very excited as well.
Cool. What about yourselves? Are you going to throw up before your screening or be nervous? Anyone else want to jump in?
If I have to throw out, I would prefer to before rather than after.
Okay,
Hopefully
good.
not at all.
Yeah.
It's always stressful, but that's why we do films, to show it to people. So it's incredible to have a chance to do that.
I think we can all get our own bins and
Film throw up pot pails.
It could happen. It could happen. But let's go we've got some comments here from people. We've got almost 450 people watching us live right now on YouTube. So let's go to your comments. We have a super chat here from Elliot Cecil. For once, the guy isn't stupid in the adaptation, though. Oh, I think you were talking about.
Yeah. Probably want to scroll down and get the later chats than
okay, cool.
in the early ones.
I think we were talking about The Last of Us before you guys joined us.
Oh.
Davina Duckworth says, thanks for covering Slamdance, guys. Imperfect says, I encourage throwing up. You always feel better after. And Solomon Thornton says, a round table for filmmakers. Love it. One of the pieces of advice that I always would give to filmmakers is don't give up exactly what your budget is. You don't want to say, but if any of you are willing to reveal your budget, not to a distributor or whatever, and you don't have to say the exact budget, but like a range. And also when it comes to indie film, I know that there's a certain amount of sacrifice that goes with it. So if you're willing to reveal sort of a budget range for the project, I know with documentaries, it's really almost impossible because it's mostly sweat equity. But maybe a budget range, and then what were some of the sacrifices that you had to make? And I would like to ask everybody this question. And here's a comment from Randy, says Indian horror. Randy Watson says Indian horror. We have a lot of people who watch our channel from India because we've been covering Indian cinema since RRR. But Shujat, maybe we'll start with you and we'll just go round.
Yeah, sure. Chris, sorry, I missed.
Just your budget range, and then what were some of the sacrifices in order to get the movie made?
So we shot the film actually 2 years back during peak pandemic in August 2020. It was challenging because Mumbai had just started opening up and we had to take our security passes, and we shot it on the outskirts of Mumbai. We were a bunch of 35 people who went in, and there was this amazing house which was owned by a friend of mine. And I called her up one day and I said, hey, I want to shoot a film in your house. It's a 150-year-old house, ancestral property. And she said, yeah, of course. Why not? And I said, but I have no money to pay you. She said, well, then you guys just have to stay there, with my folks and bear them, and we can go ahead and shoot. So, yeah, the challenges of the pandemic were definitely there in terms of the protocols and all. We were out 10 days, and it was a great experience in that sense of it. In terms of budget, I'm really not too sure in what range we have, because we are still not, as independent films. You keep on taking favors. We shot it on the Sony Venice, so we wanted a certain kind of finish to it. We just had 4 lights, 2 lenses. 2 actors, and we went boom, boom, boom. So, I still have to pay a lot of people, and hopefully, if the film finds its place in the business world, that is how. But the intent was all of us wanted to come together. It's an important story, especially given the pandemic and what was happening in terms of the social divide and the change in social fabric related to castes, creed, color, religion. So that is what the film actually explores, the horror of man.
Well, let's some people are saying don't reveal the budget. I was sort of a joke because I really don't want you to reveal the budget, because part of the reason is I think someone said under the price of Titanic. It's less than Titanic. That's what somebody said. But that is a thing. And also I've seen some remarkable films that were made. I knew what the actual budget was, and it looked like it cost multi-million dollar budget. There's so much you can do with production value, whether it be location, an actor, digital effects, and whatnot. So I was being somewhat sarcastic. I think it's more, we have some questions here from people asking, I Was a Bear says, how did they get the budget? And so that's a question you may want to address. Bethel Game says, how high the budget is not important. What counts is what you make with the budget.
I think to your point, what you're trying to bring across is the fact that the budget is not enough. And as people want to get into making films, and what were the challenges to where the budget was not allowing you to do certain things? Did you have to get creative, or did you have to cut things? What were some of those considerations in your particular films?
Yeah, Crux Reju Che says, I don't know. We get some weird names sometimes. I'm glad you're all on here. I'm looking forward to the art film because I'm a struggling digital artist. Holy Wars says, my budget was giving up my personal life for 2 years. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we could all identify with that.
I'm assuming none of you have a personal life. But this is an interesting question. And it's the number one question I get when I do panels. How did you find financing? Asks Snakes and Funerals. I mean, there's so many different ways. Crowdfunding, I think, is very popular and reliable. There's private equity, coming from friends and family. Slamdance movies are small. I'm going to guess mostly. Does anyone want to reveal or talk about how you got the financing together, or what was that?
John and I can kind of talk a little bit about our secret finances for this project. I think
Sure.
that to answer Alan's question a little bit, kind of like what were the main challenges of the budget? Like what could we not afford? For us, it was kind of, we made a film about John's father who went through this experience as an undercover secret agent. And everything had already happened by the time we kind of sat down with him and understood what was going on. So we had to go and recreate everything. And to do so, we figured we might need an actor to play him. And only a couple guys in Hollywood, like maybe Tai Ma, could play, like a 60, 70-year-old Asian dad. And we certainly can't afford him, on a drop of a dime. So we decided, Jerry, why don't you just play yourself? And he said, sure, only if I get to be in a spy film. So we saved maybe, 6 figures just casting John's own father to be in his own film about himself, about his own kind of experience. And because of the circumstances of his extradition, he had to leave the country. And therefore, John and I had to rush and shoot this before he was deported, basically. So we had to self-finance it. It was something that we did for super low budget and a lot of sweat equity on both of our ends and wearing every single hat possible. But it was we had no choice. We had to just make this thing or otherwise not get the opportunity to.
It sounds like the style of the Pez Outlaw. The Pez Outlaw was an event that already occurred, and then they did these recreations, which were fun and kind of hysterical at times. So that's really interesting. Anyone else care to answer the question regarding financing?
Mine was it was all sweat equity, friends, family, and I also come from the advertising world, so I sold my soul to do some ad films and make the money and invest it in buying my soul back.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, this is another good question from the chat. Holy Wars, Chris, can we see the Slamdance films anywhere via streaming? Alan?
Yes, the answer is yes. It's at slamdancechannel.com. Last year, it cost you $10 to see all the Slamdance movies. This year, I believe it's like $7.50, $7.99 maybe.
Yeah.
So less than the price of a ticket to go to the theater.
How does the inflation work in America?
Yeah.
It goes down?
Yeah.
Well,
So maybe it is $10, but it is less than the price of a movie ticket, and you can see all the Slamdance films.
Yeah, there is literally
Slamdancechannel.com.
Yeah, so there's literally a Slamdance channel on Roku. I'm not sure if the app
On everything, Roku, Apple,
right,
the major devices.
So just download the Slamdance app. It's like a streaming service, and you can watch all the movies. I think for a limited time. It's like 1 month. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a month or a couple weeks? Anyway,
It's a
so
month-long subscription.
you can see all of these movies via the Slamdance app for the cost of one ticket, maybe less than the cost
Less than.
of a ticket. $8? It's nothing. So that's great to hear. Very good question, Holy Wars. Appreciate that. I'm excited for all of you. I have a last question I want to ask, and I'd like everyone to address it in some way. Is we get a lot of filmmakers on, talk to our audience. A lot of people in our audience are aspiring filmmakers, and there's just so many things that you could say. But if you had a really close friend of yours and they were going to make their first film, their first feature film, what is the one piece of advice you'd want to give your friend, your very close friend? You just need to tell them one thing only. What would you tell them? What piece of advice would you give?
It's harder than you think.
Finish it. Don't stop during the process. Finish it. No matter how, just finish it.
Cool. Who else?
Listen to no advice. Just go and do what you believe in. Do not listen to anyone. Learn it on your own. Make your mistakes and figure it out. Just don't listen to anyone. Do what you believe in.
Cool.
And I think from us, just like choose a really personal story. I think that, your first film should represent everything that you believe in and who you are.
Cool.
Yeah, for me, I would say find a partner. Like I've been working with Law for like 10 years now, like shorts and anything you can think of, music videos and a bunch of creative stuff. And once you find a person that you get along with and work well with, it's like it makes it a lot faster. It can feel very lonely pushing that rock up the hill, but know that there are like producers and people out there willing to die on the sword of like making indie film, because some people just want to make art. Doesn't matter the money. It's like some people just want to make art, just want to see art.
I thought you were going to say cast your dad. I think that's
oh yeah that's
cast your dad in the movie.
Cast your dad, cast your brothers, your sisters. Yeah.
But that's great. You guys are you all in Park City? You'll be there for your premieres?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Can't wait to meet all you guys.
Looking forward to meeting you guys.
We are covering Slamdance remotely. So we will be covering Sundance and Slamdance remotely. So if you haven't left, maybe I consider hitching a ride to Park City. It's crazy this time of year. Anyways, congratulations to you all. Really just have a great time in Park City. And really just can't wait, because this is Slamdance is like the first step on a journey. You're going to play other film festivals. You're going to travel with that. You're going to have distribution deals, but eventually, hopefully before the end of this year, everyone will get to see them in commercial release, if not Slamdance itself. So thank you so much for appearing here on the Film Threat Livecast. Alan, anything else?
No, like I said, you can watch every single film on the cheap at slamdancechannel.com.
Cool. That was great. That was so great having those guys on. Can't wait. I actually, like I say, I prefer Slamdance movies to Sundance movies.
When you look at the Sundance list and the Slamdance list, you are absolutely correct.
Cool.
And these are truly independent films. These are not, unfortunately, they're not funded by any big streaming, any big studio. These you just heard here that it's sweat and tears that made these movies.
Or sweat equity. What were you trying to?
Sweat equity? Is that what I'm saying?
Sweat. Yeah, sweat.
Yeah.
Sweat.